Leviticus chapter 15, verses 1 to 33. I am reading from the New Revised Standard Version, the Green Bible. Verse 1. The Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, verse 2, Speak to the people of Israel and say to them, when any man has a discharge from his member, his discharge makes him ceremonially unclean. Verse 3. The uncleanness of his discharge is this, whether his member flows with his discharge or his member is stopped from his discharging, it is uncleanness for him. Verse 4, every bed on which the one with the discharge lies shall be unclean, and everything on which he sits shall be unclean. Verse 5, anyone who touches his bed shall wash his clothes and bath in water and be unclean until the evening. Verse 6, all who sit on anything on which the one with the discharge has sat shall wash their clothes and bath in water and be unclean until the evening. Verse 7, all who touch the body of the one with the discharge shall wash their clothes and bath in water and be unclean until the evening. Verse 8, if the one with the discharge spits on the person who are clean, then they shall wash their clothes and bath in water and be unclean until the evening. Verse 9, in a saddle on which the one with the discharge rides shall be unclean. Verse 10, all who touch anything that was under him shall be unclean until the evening, and all who carry such a thing shall wash their clothes and bath in water and be unclean until the evening. Verse 11, and all those whom the one with the discharge touches without his having rinsed his hands in water shall wash their clothes and bath in water and be unclean until the evening. Verse 12, any earthen vessel that the one with the discharge touches shall be broken, and every vessel of the wood shall be rinsed in water. Verse 13, when the one with the discharge is cleansed of his discharge, he shall count 7 days for his cleansing. He shall wash his clothes and bath his body in fresh water, and he shall be clean. Verse 14, on the 8th day he shall take 2 turtle doves or 2 pigeons and come before the Lord to the entrance of the tent of meeting and give them to the priest. Verse 13, the priest shall offer them, one for a sin offering, the other for a burnt offering, and the priest shall make atonement on his behalf before the Lord for his discharge. Verse 16, if a man has an emission of semen, he shall bath his whole body in water and be clean until the evening. Verse 17, everything made of cloth or of skin on which the semen falls shall be washed with water and be clean until the evening. Verse 18, and if a man lies with a woman and has an emission of semen, both of them shall bath in water and be unclean until the evening. Verse 19, when a woman has a discharge of blood, that is her regular discharge from her body, he shall be in her impurity for 7 days, and whoever touches her shall be unclean until the evening. Verse 20, everything upon which she lies during her impurity shall be unclean. Everything also upon which she sits shall be unclean. Verse 21, whoever touches her bed shall wash his clothes and bath in water and be unclean until the evening. Verse 22, whoever touches everything upon which she sits shall wash his clothes and bath in water and be unclean until the evening. Verse 23, whether it is the bed or anything upon which she sits, when he touches it, he shall be unclean until the evening. Verse 24, if any man lies with her and her impurity falls on him, he shall be unclean 7 days, and every bed on which he lies shall be unclean. Verse 25, if a woman has a discharge of blood for many days, not at the time of her impurity, or if she has discharged beyond the time of her impurity, all the days of the discharge, she shall continue in uncleanness, as in the days of her impurity she shall be unclean. Verse 26, every bed in which she lies during all the days of her discharge shall be treated as the bed of her impurity, and everything on which she sits shall be unclean, as in the uncleanness of her impurity. Verse 27, whoever touches this thing shall be unclean, and shall wash his clothes and bath in water and be unclean until the evening. Verse 28, if she cleanse of her discharge, she shall count 7 days, and after that she shall be clean. Verse 29, on the 8th day she shall also take turtle doves or 2 pigeons and bring them to the priest at the entrance of the tent of meeting. Verse 30, the priest shall offer one of the sin offering and the other for a burnt offering, and the priest shall make atonement on her behalf before the Lord for her unclean discharge. Verse 31, Thus you shall keep the people of Israel separate from their uncleanness, so that they do not die in their uncleanness by defiling my tabernacle that is in their midst. Verse 32, this is the ritual of those who have discharged for him who has an emission of semen, becoming unclean thereby. Verse 33, for her who is in the infirmity of her period, for anyone, male or female, who has discharged, for the man who lies with a woman who is unclean. I'm reading from the book of Leviticus chapter 15, verses 1 to 33, reading from the New Revised Standard Version, the Green Bible.